How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Irrelevant Podcast. Oh, man, it's been a minute. It's been several minutes.
So much has happened.
It's been 4 weeks, I think, maybe even longer. I don't know. It's been over a month since we recorded an episode.
That's kind of crazy.
Dude,
I apologize, guys.
I saw a comment yesterday like, you couldn't have gotten any more relevant, and then you didn't post for 4 weeks, so now you're completely useless.
I think that was maybe the play. It's like when something happens like that, you can't just go immediately to
Dude, we had Noah J on, and then we're like, all right, that's it. We've hit our peak. We're done. We're out of here.
Noah J appeared. It was a good send off. That was it. But no, we're actually back. Surprisingly, we're back. I know it's been a bit, but hopefully the podcast is back in business. It was just a wild couple of weeks, as you can tell by Matt's get up here.
Got the gear on. got the hat.
Yeah,
the finesse, dude.
Looking good, dude.
Looking pretty good.
And that's for just being an amazing friend and supporter of everything that happened.
Thank you, man.
The past couple weeks.
I appreciate it. I got this in the mail, and I was like, oh man, look at this. Thank you to me.
Yeah. Well, we sent some gear out. I think some people probably saw it on social media, but we sent some Deviation merch out to basically like a lot of people that we saw that just had a positive reaction. So not just my friends, but like actual people.
I saw some people getting it that I was like, oh wow, I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Didn't even know they were.
I went for some TikTok people, went for some YouTube people, went all over the place. It was
you
crazy.
Get a hat. You get a mouse pad. Everyone gets something.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. But yeah, that happened.
Dude, congrats. I feel like this was something we were looking forward to for a while, right?
Yeah.
In the podcast, because I knew JC was working, at a development studio.
Yeah.
And we wanted to talk about it for a while. And we talked about it, here and there before the podcast each week, but obviously you couldn't say anything publicly.
Yeah.
But now you can finally talk about it. How does that feel?
Dude, it feels even like 3 to 4 weeks later since everything, it feels kind of like I've finally, for the first time in a very, very long time, I am just out of this bubble of not being able to express what my life was like. And I've talked to you so much about this. And also thank you for the congrats, by the way. Like, I appreciate it so much.
Absolutely, man.
But I think, especially being on this podcast before and with streaming and everything I was doing, like, people knew I went to LA. They knew that I was going after something like this, but no one really truly knew what was going on.
Right.
And it was like the hardest secret of my life to keep to my chest, just in general. Like, not even my family really knew the exact details of everything that was going on.
Oh man.
So it was absolutely like liberating, I feel like, in a weird way, even though it was like announcing something that I've
been working on for like a while.
Yeah, even though I'm not working for myself anymore, it was very liberating to be able to do that. And something as well is that it was just so heartwarming to see the response from everybody, like all across, my community, your community, like all over the place on the internet. Like, there was a lot of people that were just like, dude, I don't know what's happening, but this is so cool, JC. I really am so excited for you. And like, again, anybody who's listening to this podcast, who's, clicking on this podcast in general, like, you guys are so near and dear to my heart. It meant the world to me how happy people were. Like, there wasn't that much negativity that I saw of the announcement and everything. It was pretty across the board, a pretty exciting thing. And that's amazing, because that's all we could have hoped for, basically, with everything that happened is just anybody being excited for what's going on. So it was very liberating. That's the term. It's because I knew for a while that I wasn't going to be a content creator only for a very long time. And we've talked about this. We've been sort of like, me and Matt, I feel like we've been like the outcasts a little bit. That's why we were doing the irrelevant thing. It's like, okay, that time of our life of being just a content creator and nothing else is probably not realistic. And some other things are happening. You got your stuff with your production company and everything, and that you're trying to do. It's very different from MC Sports Talk.
Right.
And then I had this going on, and it was like, finally being able to talk about that, and finally being able to just to say when someone asks, like, okay, JC, what do you do? Oh, it's like, I don't say I actually don't say the word content creator probably. I say I'm the community manager at Deviation Games, and that is
by day,
awesome to say.
and a streamer by night.
Yeah, but I'm still a streamer by night.
There you go, dude. I saw that bio. I was like, all right, that's a good bio.
Yeah, I like that one. It fits because it's true. Like and for a bit I was kind of doing both without people knowing. So
yeah, exactly.
You know, it was a fun build up to finally be able to announce everything that was going on. And I don't know, dude, it's a lot to talk about.
Dude,
but it's
so
just,
that's a good
exciting.
point though. Like the build up. What was the build up like? Were you guys? Let's talk about the stream, right?
Yeah.
The kind of like the teaser announcement stream.
Yeah.
With Jason Blundell. No one's seen him for multiple years, and all of a sudden, you have a stream where there's this random dude behind you doing puzzles and in a black hood, and no one knows who he is, and chat's like questioning it, and then it's revealed to be Jason Blundell.
And no one thought it was him too much.
I don't think I saw anyone in chat that really thought it was him.
I will say this, with that whole streaming thing that we decided to do, I was fairly confident that the entire gag would have been ruined from like the first 10 minutes. I was like, oh my God, they're going to figure out it's him. They're going to know it's him.
What
There's
would
not
lead them
gonna
to
be a
believe that it
surprise.
was him though?
I just don't like, guys, who else could it have been? I don't know.
I mean, but the guy, you think about it from everyone else's perspective, the guy hasn't been around in years. There's been no news about him really.
Mm-hmm.
What would make, other than the fact that you did Chronicles, like, you know, a release together, what would make you believe that that's going to be him? Out of anyone, it could be anyone in the world. It could have been me. I saw someone say it was me, actually. They're like, oh, it's Matt. I was like, no, it's definitely not me, dude. I'm in the chat right now.
Yeah, I think Chop was in there too. And some people did think it was Chop because Chop was typing and he was like, and they're like, oh, Chop's typing from the background. Like, that's him. He's just typing in the chat while he's like hiding in the suit or whatever.
Gotcha.
But I guess I assume that the community, like, something about Jason's like figure and his presence. Like, I was just like, they're going to like somehow put two and two together of like, because for me, when I saw him in the outfit when we were like setting everything up, I was like, this is good. You can't tell what his face is,
right.
But his mannerisms were very Jason. Like, just the way
they didn't look Jason to me.
I don't. Maybe I'm just like more.
I think you were more worried than I think it was harder to figure out than you maybe thought it might have been.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm gonna be honest. Like, it was such a fun like. I hope it really came across in the entire bit is that at Deviation we're like all about having fun and just like, you know. It's a playful energy. It's like, you know, just having fun and doing things that you love and you're passionate about. And like just the idea that we even did that. Like, that was the teaser that built up to the announcement. Even though it was kind of separate from the announcement. Like, the announcement could have just like the announcement was kind of its own thing, but that teaser was a build up to me being hired.
Right.
And just the fact that we got to do it in that way makes me so happy because like we definitely had a bunch of ideas of how like what to do. Like, okay, this can't just be like, oh, I'm JC, I'm tweeting that this is happening. We got to do something fun with this.
Yeah.
And it ended up just being the simplest idea was the one that I think was the best idea to do, which is just, there's a guy behind me. You don't know who it is. And it's absurd and it doesn't make any sense, but that's kind of the point. And I guess it could have been my dad too in the background. That was I did see some of that
too. Yeah, that could have made a little sense there.
But yeah, no, it was him. It was the man, the myth, the
so
legend.
his like delivery at the end there, where he comes up to the screen and like looks into it.
Mm-hmm.
Was everything planned from top to bottom, or was it kind of like improv a little bit? You're just like, let's just see what happens.
I don't know how much Jason want me to say probably, but yeah, I'll just say I think it's a mix of both. There was like definitely some stuff that we wanted to be in there. Like, okay, we want you to, you know, throw something at me or shoot something at me or something. I didn't know when. I didn't know,
thing
like,
was funny, dude. You're like, oh.
I didn't know when. I genuinely got jump scared when it did happen because I wasn't sure if it was happening. It's like towards the end or towards the beginning or what, right? Or I didn't even know what in a lot of cases. Like, I actually, so before like the whole process, I was gonna make a video about this at some point. I probably still can, but you know, going into the weeds of like that teaser. But basically, like, I just went on like a hunt for like props. It's like, I just need to get like all these different props. and I literally laid them out on a table for Jason. I was like, choose your weapons, dude. Like literally choose what you want. Almost like don't even let me see which ones you're choosing, and just here's like, this is what you're using for the stream today, and have fun, do whatever you want to do. And he added like a bunch of stuff to the mix that, you know, he wanted to do as well. But the whole thing that you're talking about at the end, that was definitely planned, me going to get water and, you know, like him finally doing the reveal, right? But I did not expect it to work out that way. Like I think when I first envisioned it, I imagined him getting up out of the chair. He comes over, and as he's like standing up or something, he just like lowers his mask a little bit, and that's it. And then he ends the stream. That was the idea. But Jason is such a like he's as much as he has never been a content creator like us. He has like the mind for it, and he just knows like, oh no, this is a good idea. Like I'm gonna do it this way. You know, he's definitely like one for theatrics, as you've known in the past.
That's why I was asking, because I was like, man, the delivery at the end was like,
dude, he needs an Oscar, dude.
It was good. It was like really, it was good.
Yeah, like the hands on the chair and like so basically just to give some perspective of my view. So I left the room, and what's so funny is my girlfriend was in the other room,
right,
and she was
watching the stream. I assume.
Yeah, she had the stream up and she was watching it on her MacBook, and so I went in there and I was like, oh my god, and I was like watching it next to him, and I was like shaking too, like genuinely, like the chat was like really freaking out what was going on, but I was so nervous because I was like, this is it, like everything's about to change. And like this was just a normal me playing Sonic stream, maybe not normal, but this is a me playing Sonic stream. There's only like a couple hundred people in here. It's not like I don't know, like it was definitely still like I knew like it was still your JC stream. Is a content creator chapter of my life. Yeah. And I knew that immediately if he turns around, we're about to enter a whole new era of what the hell is going on. And so I literally watched it with the chat with him live. And dude, when like he took his damn sweet time, and he like got up out of the chair, did his thing, like put his hands, he did like the finger thing where it like looks menacing or something, and then he sits down, he turns around the chair first, then he takes it off, and then he just boom, there he is. And I had like, I don't know how it was for you watching it, but I had like definite, like, even though I knew this was happening for a bit, I had chills watching it. And that's like, I don't know, maybe that's like, yeah, I don't know how to even describe that, guys, but like seriously, I knew it was happening, but I still had chills because it was just crazy, because the entire chat went, what? Like just everyone going, what? How? Like, no way. And it's just, if you were one of those 200 people that were there on the stream, it was like, it might have been 300. I'm not sure.
It was getting up there towards the end.
But if you were one of those people, you will never forget being there. Like, and that's what we wanted. We wanted it to be a hardcore thing. Like you kind of had to be there to see this crazy moment, and people word of mouth can talk about it for sure. But it was I got to say, like, from inception of the idea and everything that we were doing, like it was such a fun thing. And I think I think we did a really good job at like nailing like the concept of the whole teaser. I really think it was so much fun, and at the end of the day, it was just fun. It was so fun to be a part of. I don't even remember what your question was originally, but
no, you
I haven't been able to like talk about this too much.
No, I could tell. I mean, it's good. This is why we have the podcast, man. This is why we're here, bro. We get to talk about these things finally.
I know.
No, you answered the question. It was just about, you know, what the buildup was like. You guys planned it, that kind of thing. But I think he really definitely drove it home at the end there. And then from him, like looking in that moment of like Jason, full clarity on the screen, and then
so
boom, cuts to your outro.
The camera quality was like really good too. I was really
solid.
happy.
And then I go on Twitter immediately after it's over, and I just see my whole feed, just that face of Jason just like filling the feed, like Jason's returned. JC has Jason on his stream. He's back.
Yeah. And
then preceding that, you know, you have all the videos like, what's going to be next? What are they making? What are they working on? All these kind of, you know, all these kind of videos like that. So
did you like, so something that you might understand is like, dude, I will tell you one thing that was such a hassle with the entire thing was getting the lighting to be okay. Because normally my streams in the background look like cotton candy.
Yeah,
I have
you changed it.
Blue and purple, and it's like super vibrant and almost where you can't see the background too much. And I was like, oh my God, I got to figure out how to keep the lights looking similar, but not as similar as my normal streams are. And like, I mean, the process of just like, you know, before the stream is even going live, like we were just testing, okay, how dark are you in the background? Like me sitting here, you in the background. We also got M in to help, like, because I'm kind of like looking at it from my view, but I'm
right.
like, okay, M, how's this look like? How's this look from your perspective?
Right.
She actually helped a lot, which is great. But it's just like, you know, how's the lighting look? How is this going to look when you play with this object in the background? Like, what's going to happen there? Can they see, you know, something on the couch that we want them to see or not? Like, I don't know. But that was like the biggest challenge was that. And something else that I want to mention is I got to give some respect to Jason for doing this entire tease in general, because I don't think people realize that, especially in LA, in this environment, it is like doing something. This was a 2-day thing that we did. Like, it was a 2-day stream thing. A lot of people don't even know we streamed the previous day.
Right.
They're just like, oh, they saw the end of it. But I mean, to be fair, like the first day there was no reveal at the end. So I understand why some people didn't see it, but it was a 2-day thing. It took some prep time to really I'm not just going to go live with Jason Blundell in a minute. It takes some prep time to figure out what is going to happen and what we're going to do. And in the live environment, checking the lighting and all that kind of stuff. So this is like a couple of hours of each day that Jason literally like booked out for this, just to have fun, like with the community, you know?
Yeah.
And that's, I don't know how to put that into words, but like him being in charge, you know, obviously like in charge, right? But just somebody who's literally the leadership of the team being like, yeah, I'll do that. That seems fun. Let's do it. Let's make that happen. I feel like that goes to show like what DG is all about. Like we're not afraid to like, okay, sure, Jason probably had a lot of damn things on his plate those couple of days, but he saw that the tease was worth it to do and fun to do, and we made it happen. So like, I just have so much respect that we even had time to make it work.
Yeah,
because he's a busy guy. Like, obviously being in charge, right? So I don't know, like just the whole process, it was a lot of build up, and there was tons of weeks of planning to it, but it worked out the best way I could have imagined. Again, the response was just insane. I didn't know what people would think or say too much with him being back. I was like, are people going to automatically know it's about my job? Are they going to think it's something else? Are they going to, you know, be super negative? I don't know. But the most part, again, it was super positive. And again, thank you guys for that. Like it was a joy from to experience that in person. I don't know. Sorry, I talk so much about this.
No, you're good. So you did bring up one thing I want to touch on. Mm-hmm. There was some words or some letters on a sign on the couch. Was that solved? Or was that just like nothing?
I will say that I'm not sure what you're talking about. I do know what you're talking about, but I don't know if I want to say if it got solved or not.
Okay.
But
so it didn't get solved. Or maybe it did, but it's not publicly like been talked about yet.
I don't know if I want to ruin the fun with what that said.
All right. Well, if you guys are watching this and you don't know what I'm talking about, go to the streams. There is a sign on the couch.
It could be just nothing though.
And this is my opinion. It looked like the word, it could have spelled, I don't even know what it could have spelled. But there are letters on there, and it definitely is suspect, is all I'm saying. So maybe if you want a little more insight into whatever that might be, JC's not going to tell us clearly.
It was fun to see all the theories. I'll say that. It was fun to see all the theories of like, even before the big reveal of like what was going on, like just what objects are in the background, like all that kind of stuff. But I leave that to the community. Decide what you want from those things.
All right. Well, I think it's safe to say that you guys are still conjuring up some more things for us based on what I saw in the streams. You know, you like being a little cryptic, a little bit of searching involved necessary to really get the deepest value of what you guys are putting on and performing for us?
I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's about having fun and like I don't know if we'll do something exactly in the nature that we just did.
Right.
Of course, maybe we do, maybe we don't. But I will say, no matter what, like how fun that was, like that level of just like the community interaction and like people freaking out and people like wanting to really figure out what's going on. Like I think there's definitely like, come on, it's me. And like I love that kind of stuff. So
All about community.
all about community, man. It's fun.
And now he's a community manager.
Yeah.
What do you know?
wanna
Cheers
drink
to
to
that.
that?
Water to that.
Huge water. Huge.
Big water.
We should really start drinking beers on the show. I feel like
Dude, we could, but I need to keep drinking water.
same.
Yeah.
It's just not just not
Nah,
good.
I need the good hydration for sure. Especially after last weekend, I drank a bit. But I wanted to ask you,
Yeah, feel free to ask whatever you want.
you finally went home and saw your dad for the first time in over a year?
Yeah, so
That's crazy.
yeah, so after the DG announcement and everything, I was putting it off for a bit because I was like, I gotta get this out of the way. Like I gotta let this happen. So honestly, guys, the reason I've been sort of lacking on streams and stuff lately is just because I've been taking it all in. Like I've just been taking in the whole moment of everything, and I'm like, okay, that was a lot of planning and a lot of build up to that. Let's just simmer for a moment and kind of just go, all right, here we are. Let me go visit my family. Let me go, like I think we had you guys did a party for me at one point, which was so freaking
We did a
nice.
surprise. Well, I didn't, but Emmy and
Yeah.
Katie did a surprise party for JC.
Yeah. So yeah, like M got Matt and a lot of people just like for like a surprise thing just to congratulate me on the job, which was amazing. It was just like the best couple of weeks of just like taking it all in of everything that's been going on. Obviously, I've been still had to work during the day and stuff, but I did take some time off actually from work this past week because, like you said, like I want to go visit my hometown because I haven't been in my hometown in like maybe 2 years. Like going back to Alabama, maybe. I think it's been about 2 years. But yeah, so I haven't seen my dad since I lived in Austin. And I took Emmy with me because she hadn't met my dad yet. So I thought that just needed to happen at this point. And so me and Em went to Alabama, the coast, and I showed her everything, and she met my dad. It was great. I also saw my mom as well, my mom and stepdad, and it was a really good, like, nice trip. And where I'm from, there's like beaches and all that kind of stuff, so it was just super relaxing. And something that I saw on Twitter, this is such a random thing, but so apparently in the same week that we just went to my hometown, so did Nade Shot, Tim the Tatman, Jordan Fisher, I think, and maybe Courage, I think, as well.
It was a family trip weekend, I guess.
Yeah, like they went, no, but they didn't go, they went to my hometown.
Oh.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, they
Why?
went, because there was a concert that was going on. I forgot the guy's name, Luke Combs or something.
Like a country.
Yeah, I think it was probably. I'm bad with this kind of stuff. But basically, we just saw on Twitter. We're like, oh my god, they're here as well. What? Obviously didn't see them, didn't run into them because I think they're actually might be there the whole week or whatever. And you could see like the beach photos that they had. So I'm like, oh my god, they're literally that. Like, what are the odds that in the same week
That is
like, and that's Emmy's like boss, right? Is Nade Shot. Like, what? So that was weird. That was a weird coincidence that I saw. But basically, the beaches down there are, no offense to California, but they're so much better than California.
Yeah. California beaches are.
Yeah, like California is just like it's cool. Don't get me wrong, but it's not the white sandy beaches. Like the pure, like it looks like sugar.
Yeah, like Florida, Alabama. Yeah.
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 It literally
it's
looks
like
like
flour
sugar.
almost.
Yeah.
It's so
You're like, what is this?
The grains
This
are so small. Yeah, yeah.
It's not that like brown look or like the yellow. What is even the color? I don't know. Like the darker look.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. Because I've been to certain beaches in Florida that have that. It's like It literally is like powder.
Yeah.
Almost.
It's so pretty. So that was nice. But yeah, that was really good. I enjoyed that a lot. We also did an escape room down there, which you would like.
How'd you do?
We failed both of them.
You know why? You know why you didn't have the big thinking cap? Big man brainy right here.
I know, dude. We would have done it if we had more people. The first one me and Em did was called. What was it about? We were like a hostage on a plane or something.
Dude.
So that was weird.
Sounds like Lost a little bit.
It does a little
I started watching Lost.
Dude, he did.
And I'm addicted. I'm an addict, dude. Except we haven't gone very far in it. We're like 14 or 15 episodes into season 1. We need to get moving on that.
Dude, why can't I get Emmy to
I will
watch
say
that
this.
show?
I will say this.
Yeah.
And this is an unfair bias first
Yeah.
impression. It is currently not a top 5 for me. It's great, but it's not a top 5 yet. But I'm only halfway through season
it
1,
top
so
10
like, can I?
potentially?
Oh yeah, probably top 10.
That's
but I'm
pretty
only
good.
halfway through season 1, so how can I really say that yet?
That's true. I will say a lot of people. I feel like a lot of people love season 2, like season. I feel like
I just want to know how can they have this many more episodes? It's now I'm starting to be like, okay, there's like more here. There's like more things that are there that we didn't know about. But initially, I was like, how are you going to make a whole 6-season series
season 1
about them being lost on an island where they're like, there's nothing happening pretty much.
It's that show is like the epitome of you think like it's like, oh, there's some, oh. There's no like there's no way they could
you know nothing.
yeah, so it's very that show is like a trip in of itself. Like you, for better or for worse, you're gonna be like, wow, they at least had they had the guts to do certain things. So I don't know, it's so fun. I think I've talked to you about this before, but dude, I could literally do a podcast about lost episodes. Like I could
we'll
literally
have to
do
do like a solid podcast about it when I'm done.
Like,
because
it's
I
so
know you've
good.
mentioned multiple times that a lot of people don't like the ending, but you did. So now I have this like, oh my god, what the hell can the ending? But I'm not even close, so it's like
Yeah.
kind of useless. But I know when I get there, I'm gonna be like, man, where's this ending gonna go? Like, what's gonna happen here?
I think for what I kind of imagine is, I think if you still like the show up to a certain season, and again, sorry for the random Lost tangent, guys, but if you like Lost to like season 5, I think you'll probably end up liking the ending. But if you start to like drift and you're like, I don't really like this a lot, somewhere in the middle of all the seasons, I feel like that's probably the people who don't
that's
like
not
the
a good
ending
sign,
as much.
JC.
Why?
That's just not, I don't know. I just feel like that's not a good sign. To
But
hear that ahead of time is not a good sign.
I'm saying you could be somebody who loves it though.
I could.
Yeah. It's just what type of person like you are reviewing it. And it's not like people are like wrong for not liking it. It's just people have different tastes in what they do.
For sure.
But I'm excited because you're about to get to one of my favorite episodes. So I wish I could say what the title of it is, but the title actually spoils it.
We'll find, oh wow. Then I won't look at the titles.
But yeah, you're really close. But season 1's like kind of like it's a lot slower than the other ones. I'll say that.
Interesting. It's definitely starting to ramp up now. It was there were between like episode like 6 and 11. I was like, man, this is like what's happening?
The reason why the show's so good, dude, honestly, is because if you really take the time to like enjoy every individual episode, you have so much like character work. It's like unreal because the flashback system is so good.
Flashback's cool
because it's like, even if the character's in a weird situation now, you see how they were before. So you can really figure out like what, like you can really figure out like, I know who Jack Shepherd is. I kind of get his character.
Yeah.
I think you probably already kind of get how he is for the most part.
They're definitely building the story around these guys.
Yeah. And so like when stuff happens later on, you're like, with whatever character, it's like, I saw literally this guy or girl's journey through before the island, on the island, all that kind of stuff. Like I literally saw like his entire character.
It does feel like, I've only been a little bit into it.
Yeah.
Everyone who's on the island is meant to be there. Like they deserve to be there for a reason. It's all different reasons, but it's all like in the same path.
That's
like they're all slightly cursed.
Yeah, there's
in
a lot
their
of
own way.
There's
They're
a lot
all
of
like something was wrong with the relationship or their, you know, mostly their relationships, but themselves or their babies or whatever. Like, they're all cursed in a way that they deserve to be on that plane and also deserve to live to like rebuild their characters.
Have you had a flashback yet where you're like, oh, that was a good flash? They were like, that was all goody, like good stuff that happened. I feel like,
No.
yeah, it's never. I mean,
Maybe that's why. I mean, like these were all bad situations.
Yeah, that's how it be for the most part.
That's how it be. Well, we'll see what happens.
I'm excited to see what your thoughts on it are. And again, I wish in another timeline somewhere, I'm doing a Lost rewatch podcast with you. And we're going down every episode and we talk about the episode, because every episode I could literally talk about for like so long, because they're like they're character studies, every single one of them.
They are.
It's like, oh, why does this character act the way they do? Oh, because this happened to them or whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't want to like talk too much about it because I don't want to spoil the show.
If you guys haven't watched it, it's probably worth watching at this point. We've talked about it enough times.
Just watch it to make your mind if you hate it or not.
Let us know if you believe it's a top 10 or not. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
It's good though. It's definitely good. It's definitely one of the better shows I've seen ever.
Yeah.
But it's got 5 seasons left. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's good. Like, it's the middle and the late seasons that really matter.
You know what? Can I tell you a fun fact about the show? It's just so funny. We just talked about this, we just talked about Lost. This is great. But they were like, originally when they were doing the show, they didn't know when they were going to be allowed to end it, because it was on prime time. Like, I don't know if prime time's the right word, but
TV.
it was on ABC.
Yeah.
And it was like a hit immediately, right? And they had to like fight to end the show. And I think originally, I think if they like if all the writers and stuff had their way, I've heard Damon Lindelof talk about it, and he's basically like, for him it was like the perfect scenario for him would be like if it could be 3 seasons only, but they did find a way to make it 6. Like, I don't want to say like, oh, there's just a bunch of filler, because they're really, I love all the seasons so much, but it's like just keep that in mind as you're watching it. You're like, dude, they literally,
These are all bad signs.
No, dude,
these are all bad
no.
signs. This is not what I want to hear. This is like PTSD of Game of Thrones. Like, you need a story that's that good in any scenario needs to have a clear beginning and ending, and don't.
It does though. It does.
Well, it might have a clear, but it doesn't mean it's going to be good. Like Stranger Things is supposed to be 4 or 5 seasons, from what I've watched on like the interviews. And if they try to stretch it because it's such a hit, it will ruin it will probably ruin the show. It will probably ruin like the story that's being told.
We'll
Game
see.
of Thrones should have been, if they're gonna like,
Should have been like 10.
at least 10.
Yeah.
But it had to end it because which is kind of like counterintuitive because it was doing so freaking well. Like, why would you, whatever.
Yeah, but I will say, for me as somebody who loves Lost, if you told me how the hell if I looked at the show, like the events of the show, and I'm like, how do I fit that into 3? It can't. It literally can't. Like,
Unless you have 40 episodes per season.
Like, yeah, but I'm telling you, like, it's not stretched like you think it is. It's more like it forced them to go, wait, how do we actually reinvent the show a bunch? And I think that's what I think they literally said by I think somewhere in season 2 and 3, that's when they knew, like, they got the absolute clear 100% that they could end it on 6. So they, like, a lot of people are like, oh, they built the show as they were going along and stuff, but it was one of those things where, like, they had some ideas, they started making the groundwork, and then they really got the clear, and they're like, okay, we're gonna really do this stuff. But it's an interesting show to like evaluate later on. I'm so excited.
This guy gets so excited. You can just see it.
I love
He's
it
like,
so much.
Oh yeah.
It's very like, dude, Lost is very. It's just so addicting because you just don't know. You don't know where they're gonna go with it. It's great. I think they did. I actually would have taken more episodes, to be honest. I would have taken more.
Of course you would. I mean, it's your favorite show. Like,
Yeah.
You know what it would do to have Game of Thrones be like not ended in 8 and continue? Oh,
Dude.
oh, I like.
Here's the thing. At the end of the day, I'll tell you one of the weirdest things in the last couple of years has been seeing how Game of Thrones just does not get talked about anymore. Like the ending, like really like messed with people.
It
like
screwed it.
Like talking
royally
about it.
screwed it.
Yeah.
Because now people, I feel like coming up to season 8, many people that were on the Breaking Bad
Right.
or Game of Thrones best of all time
Right.
were leading Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Until season 8, and now they're like, I cannot unsee and feel just betrayed by season 8 that I have to choose Breaking Bad as a better show.
Completely understand though if people are like, I like Game of Thrones ending. It's all, it's all about opinions, but I am with Matt here.
I don't hate the ending. I hate that it was rushed because it didn't
yeah.
feel like that's how it should have went. Like everything else in that show is about insane character development and seeing their like full journey.
Yeah.
And then you have it like she's up here, she's goody good, and then JK, she's the most evil person on the entire planet.
Yeah.
In one season, in not even one season, but in 2 episodes, she went from this to this in 2 episodes.
Spoilers a little bit.
Sorry, yeah. I mean, if you haven't seen it, by I don't know. Yeah, I guess.
But also
guess spoilers, but
I don't want you to get spoiled either. So
somehow I haven't seen any spoilers for Lost, thank God. But I don't know. The point is, like, it did an injustice to the whole show. It really did.
Yeah, I think that situation was so interesting because it's like you could tell they wanted to end the show, but then also they definitely didn't have enough time to end it.
Well, the other thing is they didn't go off the books for the last one. The last 2 seasons, right. I guess. Yeah.
I like 7 though. I like 7.
I do too. I think a lot of people they put 7 and 8 as like both are bad.
No, I like 7.
But I thought 7 was good. I thought 7 was really good.
I think there's a way 7 could have worked with 8, but if 8 was a different.
Again, like I think they could have done some cooler things with 8. They would have made more sense given the timeline, but like I'm not opposed to the ending.
Yeah.
That was one of the clear paths that could have happened. And
Right.
it's like we all know Game of Thrones is it's never happy endings.
Right.
Like no one's safe. It's never going to go how you want it to go, which is why I think the show's so great because you really feel like my character that I love could die at any moment.
Right.
Genuinely. I don't care who's lead, anyone could die.
Yeah.
That's how I felt, except they rushed it. They just rushed it.
So wait, how do we even get to this topic? So what was the point originally? It was
like rushed endings and like
oh yeah, so
are extended endings. Like you have to end good shows
Right.
when they're meant to be ended. If you have a
Right.
story arc and it's beautiful, the problem is it's like a business. This is the same thing we talked about a million times: creativity and business. Like how do you mesh the two in a perfect world? And if you have a beautiful story that's the perfectly crafted story for the creative, but it's making billions of dollars, not billions, but millions and millions and millions of dollars.
yeah.
Every episode you put out, it's like, can we squeak out one more season to make it, to make it work? Yes, we can, of course.
But I feel like I will say, as much as people are like, oh, let's say the Game of Thrones thing is like almost the opposite. It's like they ended it when they could have done more and made tons of more money.
Yeah.
But a lot of times you see people complain about the opposite. They're like, oh, this show went on for too long.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
But what I will say though is, even though if they get asked to keep a show going from higher ups or whatever, I feel like you still gotta give them like I feel like that's got to happen in so many cases, and
sure.
so many cases we probably don't even see or hear of. And it's like it's their job to figure out how do you keep the story interesting after season 2, right? Or after the first.
I can think of a couple things that have had to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like there's again, it's Lost is very Lost is an interesting case because like J.J. Abrams was on the project at the beginning, and then it sort of passed to Damon as like the head honcho of the
EP.
I don't know what I guess he was lead writer or lead.
I see J.J. Abrams' title credit on the early episodes. I don't know if it's still there or not.
Like
but
JJ's like always on like created by J.J. Abrams and Damon
Right.
Lindelof, I think. But it became Damon Lindelof and Carlton Cuse' show, and Damon basically became like it was kind of like passed down. Like he said on podcasts before that he was like when JJ like left, it was just like it was him. It's like There you go.
bestow upon
And he's
you.
like, this is his first time he's ever had something that major and that much of a hit, and he was like freaking out. It's so cool to hear like
Dude,
a creative
this guy
behind it.
freaking loves this. Now I make me want to go watch him.
Oh,
If Jess is watching this podcast, we need to get on it. We need to get moving. The reason I haven't watched the whole freaking thing already is because I'm watching with Jess, and we only have so much time each night to watch after work.
See,
if it was me, bro, I'd be binging this shit all day.
you-
No, not all day.
Here's the
but,
thing. Why can't I just convince Emmy to actually start the show?
She doesn't want to watch it?
She doesn't want to watch it yet. But if I could convince her to watch the show, and then we caught up to you guys, because
could do
because
a viewing
Emmy,
party.
as much as she won't admit it, she does like binging a lot.
Yeah.
But it's like if we could catch up to you guys, we could literally sit down and just watch it as like a 4-person group. It'd be so much fun. Because I have nothing to do that with anymore. Literally nothing. Game of
You
Thrones
want
is the
that
last
so bad. No, that's true, dude. Game of Thrones, I did enjoy those like
Game of
watch
Thrones,
parties.
we would rewatch it too with people who haven't
Yeah.
seen it, and it was super fun. It
Yeah.
would be like that would be like me vicariously living through your brain and Jess and Emmy's brain, and just being like, y'all have no idea.
I do understand that, where it's like you're showing us someone else's show that you love so much that's that good, and you're like getting to see their reaction to it for the first time.
It's like even I'm so interested in like, not even because I think it's so good, but I'm so interested if you think it's going to be, or if you change your mind like halfway through. And I like, it's like you're like an experiment. You're like a data point for me. It's like what is like, if Matt doesn't end up liking this, why? What is it that made him not like it?
I'll let you know. I have a whole. I
or
told
if he
you.
does like it, it's like,
I'm curious to see where it'll end up in my TV rankings. It's good so far. It's good. It's probably near. It's definitely. I'd say like somewhere around top 7.
The one thing to keep in mind is the show is older. People don't even.
I have
keep
kept that in mind. What is 2008?
First season's 2004.
Okay, yeah. So it's definitely older. I don't take that
So
into
just think about what they
consideration.
did with like what they could do with
It's
that.
it's well done.
Yeah.
So far, it's well done.
Last season's 2010.
Okay.
Isn't that crazy? That's still the last season was still 11 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, but Game of Thrones was also pretty, somewhere around that
somewhere in
era
there,
as
yeah.
well. So, and Breaking Bad was not that far after that either. And
Yeah.
it might have started right around then too. So they're all in the same general
Dude,
sphere of
that
time.
would be like the greatest thing if I could
Dude,
just
do it.
watch.
Get her to watch, and then we'll watch all 4 of us because you can catch up to us. If you guys go hard in the next
Maybe
week or
she'd
two,
feel more encouraged to watch it if she knew that could happen.
I'm in. Jess would be in. Why not?
Yeah. Plus, once you get to like,
Dude, just catch up. You got 15 episodes. Jess isn't here this week, so we're not watching this week. So
M's not here either.
tell her to watch on her own then. Just
No, I
get
can't.
caught up.
I can't.
Oh,
So I gotta see it. I gotta see her watch.
I need to be there
I need
to
to be
watch
there.
it with her,
It's so
to
important
guide her through.
Like I literally want her to watch it, and then I want us to have like, dude.
You
like,
want to have a deep conversation
I want
about
to
it?
have like the moment where I go to Hawaii with her and I just see the island, like in person.
It's an actual island in Hawaii?
Yeah,
You did say that. You did say
They
that.
filmed it all in Hawaii.
Yeah, it's all that same spot.
I think
eh?
it's all Oahu for the most part.
Dang, that's cool.
But there might be other locations. But you can like tour like where all the things
Happen.
in Hawaii. I think you can still tour it. And
That's
tour like where they
sweet.
film stuff. There's
Very
like people
cool.
who go. I saw this guy who posted something on Twitter. Obviously, don't search this up because it's probably spoilers. But like, he like found like locations from the show, and he would like print out a photo of like somebody sitting by a tree or something, and then he like took the photo in real life, put it in front of his camera, and like made it so like the grass at the top of the photo of the tree or the leaves of the tree matched his photo, and you could see like the surroundings more of it.
Oh,
Like, he was
wow.
like right there. Like he was like he'd go to the spot where they filmed a shot, and he'd back up like
And
10
he'd see
feet
it.
and then take a picture of the shot in front of him, and it like had all of the rest of it around
That's
him.
sweet.
It was the coolest thing. I was like, I need to do this. I need to go there. I want to go there for my wedding, dude.
Your wedding in Hawaii?
That would be like, I don't want to say that'd be like the best wedding ever, because obviously I think the wedding would be great no matter what. But dude, like I would.
I think Jess and I are gonna want to go to on our honeymoon in Hawaii. So
I feel like for us it's something similar to that.
yeah,
We love tropical
I've never
stuff.
been to Hawaii, but I know it's very expensive, so it'll be a a trip, a quest of a trip, dude. Speaking of trips,
Mm-hmm.
we got to go on a cruise.
Dude, why hasn't it happened?
It's because it hasn't happened because there's been a pandemic for a year and a half. But I think end of this year, early next year, realistic possibility that could happen.
See, I'm so curious too, and this is kind of going back to the DG stuff for a second. But people have been asking me, they're like, "Okay, JC, do you still work from home?" I'm like, "Yeah." I don't know when that's going to change.
Oh yeah, when do you guys go to the office?
I don't know.
Interesting.
I'm not sure. I like at some point that will happen, and when it does, like I imagine at some point that will happen. I actually don't know. I who knows, honestly.
I feel like a lot of businesses have kind of just like stayed with you can work from home if you want because it's worked.
Yeah, it does
in a lot of situations.
It does work. There's definitely challenges, but I mean, it is very interesting from like our side of like we kind of like everything sort of started from the work from home environment. We didn't have the huge transition to it.
Yeah.
So what does that mean for the future of us working? Like I don't know. Like I'm kind of curious. Like later on in other episodes of the podcast, if I'll be sitting here and being like, yeah, we're at a studio finally, and we're in person.
You got to be at some point.
I would imagine so.
It's got to be.
We'll see.
For that kind of thing, I feel like at some point that's got to happen.
But it is crazy that like COVID is finally, like especially in LA. Like LA is a lot like more like it's finally more relaxed.
Yeah, I feel like last time we talked, it was it was
just on the way.
It was just on the way to opening up again, but now it is fully open, and a lot of places have no masks now.
Yeah,
like I haven't been wearing a mask around other people, and I'm surprised at how quickly it got back to normal for me.
Really?
Yeah, like at first I was like, oh, this is really weird. I feel super unprotected right now. I feel like I don't know, and then within like a couple days, just when there are places where you had to bring a mask, I was like, oh, I forgot about that. Pretty fast, honestly. I think once I went back to the gym is when it really kind of changed for me. Because now the gyms don't have it anymore either. And it's like,
dude, you know what I've been doing? I think I told you about it. I've been trying to. I got off of it again, but honestly, I did a lot of walking.
You got off of walking?
No, sorry.
This guy just is like, yeah, you know what?
No.
I tried walking. And I was like, you know what? I just didn't like it, so I stopped walking.
No, like with traveling and stuff, I've been pretty active walking around and everything, but I was trying to, and I'm still got it going. I still need to go today, or tonight, but I've been trying to do a mile a day of cardio. Just a mile.
That's the move.
Just a mile.
What's your mile time?
Right now it's like 14 or 15 minutes. I can't remember. One of those two.
Do you like speed?
I do run at one point.
Okay, so you just like on and off.
Yeah, so I'll walk at the beginning, and then I think somewhere around like the halfway mark, I'm like.
Do you like sprint and then walk?
I was sprinting a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Why don't you just do like a steady pace all the way through instead of stopping and starting?
Well, I'm not like stopping. I'm still like walking at a brisk pace, but
speed walk.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm doing. And then I get to a point. I'm like, all right, now I'm gonna run now.
Okay.
And then I stop. I think I'm just trying to challenge. Like I'm trying to challenge myself in general because I haven't done a lot of cardio lately, especially with everything that's been going on. I've been so busy.
I get that. I will say, and I think I told Jess this too when she was doing it, because for her like longer runs, she would do like run hard and then break and then run hard, like just so she could make it through. But
yeah,
just try to do like a much slower pace, but go all the way through. It's better. You'll get better quicker.
Start a slower
yeah, pace. because sprinting and distance running are so different. I did track in high school.
Yeah.
And I ran cross country, like 3-mile races, 3.2 mile races, 5Ks, because it would help improve my endurance for sprinting. But they are such different things. Like I'm not good at running long distance at all. Yeah. I'm terrible at it. But sprinting, I was like pretty decent. And some of those races are still pretty long. Like 800 meters is somewhere between, it's like a half mile.
Yeah.
So it's between you're like running full speed for a half mile, which is
hard.
Very difficult. For at least for me, it was full speed, but the guys that are really good at it aren't full speed, Anyway, try to run like a jog all the way through.
Okay.
I think you'll be like, wow. Like if you make it through one, the next time you do it, you'll be like, wow, this is actually a lot easier than I thought.
Yeah. I think I'm just like terrified of that.
Well, like just not able to make it. You can't make it. Just stop.
Yeah, I'm just not. I haven't.
But you gotta like mentally. You can always make it. You will feel like shit, but you can always make it.
And you feel great when you're done.
Then you're not doing it hard enough.
Well, I mean, just for me, it feels mentally.
It's good. It's mentally great once you're like past the like feeling like I don't know. I mean,
it feels accomplishing.
That's definitely. Mentally, it's great, but like physically, when you get back in anything for the first time, you're probably not feeling very good after doing it hard.
Yeah, that's true. I gotta say, I love what you've done with the irrelevant sign. I just noticed it.
Oh yeah, I got it like slowly flashing. I don't know if they can tell on the podcast.
I think you can see it.
Yeah, it's
let's see if it does. Let's see if it does it.
Boom.
Oh, there it goes.
It's got a little something new for you since we haven't been here for a while.
So is it like with everything that happened? Are we still irrelevant?
Dude, it's up to them to decide. We hit the Noah podcast and then disappeared for literally a month straight. And it's not like we haven't tried to make episodes. We just haven't had really the time.
Well, you did
it's been busy.
I mean, you did look, we both had crazy stuff going. You did a huge ZWC thing.
Yeah.
Right. And that was just awesome. Like, congrats on all that, by the way. And so I feel like we both just had some really
it's been busy,
good stuff happen on both sides that were like definitely more involved with people than I don't know how I'm wording this exactly, but I felt like we were both just kind of like, oh yeah, we're just in this little corner over here doing irrelevant and no one knows who we are at all. But like, we both just had some pretty major stuff happen.
Very true.
So I don't know.
Maybe we cover up the
just
first
for
part
one
there
just 1 week
and just get the relevant in there for one episode.
I also don't even like saying that we're relevant because it just sounds weird. I don't like that.
You know, it sounds too cocky to say that we're relevant.
On the grand scale of things, what are we truly? We're just Matt and
minuscule. But I will say
we
that
had a good week.
We had some
good
weeks, some good couple past weeks for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely some good stuff. Well,
how long has it been? How long have you been recording for?
52 minutes.
Dude, you know what I've been watching lately?
What?
Looking at
Not
the
Lost.
time. Not Lost. I'm watching Loki. Great show, by
Better
the way.
than WandaVision?
Yes.
Okay. And maybe it's worth a watch because WandaVision, that's not a show I'm going to go back and watch.
WandaVision was good, but it was like, I liked all the Disney shows so far, all the Marvel shows, but WandaVision kind of had this thing where like, I kind of understood the gist of what was probably going to happen by episode 2 or 3, and I was like, okay, I don't want to say it because some people might still watch it, but it's just like I kind of understood, and then the finale and stuff just was kind of underwhelming a little bit for me.
I think the whole season was underwhelming personally. There was nothing that really drew me in.
Yeah,
like I wasn't captivated by any of the particular characters.
But do you like Loki as a character?
I don't know. I don't really care that. I don't care that much in the past.
You've seen like all Avengers.
The Avengers,
stuff, right?
yeah, I know, but I haven't been like, oh, that's a character like I really want to know more about.
Yeah,
so
this is true. You have to be probably.
In fact, I don't know if there's any character that I really was like, man,
from Marvel,
super interested in. Yeah.
And maybe you're just not as into Marvel stuff as
I might just. I'm not a huge superhero guy. I think that might be just what the issue is.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cool show though. It's like, it's very. It's like time travel weirdness and dimension weirdness and all that kind of stuff.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah.
Do we dare go down that rabbit hole?
No, not
again?
today. But it's good though, because it's like, again, it's another case study on that kind of stuff, and I love talking about that stuff. So it's been really fun to watch. It's more fun to watch for sure, because I'm like, okay, what is this going to lead to? WandaVision, I wasn't really sure what it was going to lead to. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it's kind of clear what it was leading to, but it was still a fun ride. And then this is like, I actually don't know how this is going to end exactly.
It's still going right now?
It's still going right now. They just did episode 5 as we're recording this podcast, and episode 6 is next week, and that's the finale. And I think Disney greenlit this to be a multi-season thing, so it might be a wait for another season. But it still feels like very like we're gonna have an ending to the season. I don't know what it's gonna do, but I think this is the one that I think really affects the MCU a lot, the whole Marvel universe. The other ones, well, Falcon and the Winter Soldier is pretty on point of affecting things too, but WandaVision, I'm like, okay, I guess they all affect things, but like this one really affects things. Like it's kind of wild what they're doing with it. So I like it. Basically, tell me your thoughts on Loki, guys, in the comments, because I'm really liking it. I had like, like one episode there at the beginning or so. I was like, okay, I'm not sure if I'm gonna like this whole lot. And then I was like, nah, I really like this.
I do like it.
Last episode was amazing too. Episode 5 was a banger.
Did you watch Dave?
No.
Little Dicky show?
But didn't he have a new season?
It's halfway done, almost halfway done season 2.
Do you like it?
I'll be honest with you, and this is where it's like I'm not just a fanboy of him. I'm a fan, but I don't like season 2 as much as season 1 at all. It's only halfway done, so I gotta give it a little. The production value is way higher. They put way more money into it. Some of the ideas are crazy.
Yeah,
some of the stuff's nuts, but it just doesn't have the same like genuine feel to it as the first season. Like I don't like. There's nothing that's like wow. Like I'm really drawn in to know what happens next, or like captivated by like the story that's being. It's just not. It's just like kind of there.
Yeah,
which is a bummer.
I mean, you like what you like, and you like.
Yeah, it's fair enough.
Matt, I feel like you're the same kind of person as me. Like you'll watch something and you think about it
for the next week straight.
You'll think about it for a while, and then you also think of like how was it made. You know what I mean? Like I went to go into like media studies and all that kind of stuff for college, right? Like we like evaluated film and TV and all that kind of stuff, and especially because you do so much production work too, like you probably like watch something and you're like, oh, that was this kind of lens.
It's
or that was
no,
this.
I don't know.
But I feel like you look at it, you're like, okay, that was really cool to do, or like I love the production. I just like that you can piece your critique, and you literally like mention when you're talking about, oh, the production's really good and all this kind of stuff, but I don't like the story as much, or the writing as much. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm a big like writing guy. I love good writing.
Oh, writing is huge. It's like arguably, I'd say, the most important part, really.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, what it is, what you're watching is a story.
Yeah.
Like whether it's told through a game or a movie or a picture or a podcast, you really at the end of the day, it's like a story. And there was a show back in the day called Terra Nova. You know what Terra Nova is?
I've heard of that, yeah.
Terra Nova, super cool concept. Each episode was really entertaining and engaging. The problem that it had is there was no like core story. Like it was just like things were happening each episode, and there was like a little bit of a climax and a payoff.
Right.
But over the course of a season, it was just like these little things that happened. And like there's no build up. There was no story being told. There was no character arc or no character development. It was just things happened. And I'm feeling a little bit like Dave's like that. Like it's not bad. It's really well done.
Right.
But in the first season, I felt like there was like, this is Dave and this is his build up to becoming famous. And like, this is the challenges and the obstacles. And you can feel like you can relate to like what he's going through and the challenge of like overcoming your certain obstacles and ambitions and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I can relate to that. This season, it's just like things are just happening. And I'm like, what am I getting out of this? When I walk away, what am I thinking about? Nothing. I don't walk away like with any emotion about it.
Well, I would say like that's part of like the Game of Thrones problem is things just kind of happened in the last season, and there was no like, I mean, I don't want to say there was no, because there absolutely was like stuff that did work really, really well. But to me, I am always somebody like, you give me the emotional beats and those are well done. That's the thing that I remember.
Yes.
More than, oh, this plot twist out of nowhere. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, this plot twist happened out of nowhere. Didn't have that much of a build up, or like something just happened. You're like, okay, that's wild. But like when you see like the writing actually build up to like a character changing or something, like that's when it
needs to emotionally resonate with
that's why Breaking
audience.
Bad is so good, because the entire show is basically, I mean, it's called Breaking Bad because the character literally evolves from good to bad, basically. Like that is so cool to watch.
Is I still like sympathize with Walt. Like I still feel like he's a good guy, even though he's very like objectively he's not a good guy.
Yeah,
he's a terrible person.
Objectively,
but I'm like, man,
right?
I still like can get behind his reasoning. That's when you know it's a good story.
Yeah,
or at least that's a good character arc, because like against all sense of reason, you still feel about this guy the way we want you to feel about him. That's when you know you've done a good job.
Yeah,
and so many spoilers about Game of Thrones, but season 8 ruined. Every character had like had nailed it. I don't think there's a single character where I was like, wow, this makes no sense. Like every character I felt strongly about where they were and why they were there. And then they just flipped a switch. Like, why would you do that? That's not who this person, like, I know this person better than you know this person because clearly you screwed up the writing here because they would never do that. I know they would never do that.
Yeah.
And if they were going to do that, you needed to show me every single conversation that led to them point of breaking this other way.
Yeah. It's more like it's believable that they could do it if the right lines.
If you
were
brought
put in
me
before.
through that
Yeah.
understanding again, and
Yeah.
you just didn't. You just went from good to bad or high to low, and there's no reasoning.
And again, this is why I like Lost, because
They give you the flashbacks.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. When a character does something, you go, oh, he's not just being an asshole. Oh, his entire backstory, I've seen it. Like, I know why he does the things he does, or I have maybe an idea. Maybe they'll pay it off in more in the future.
Yeah.
But you just get like more of a sense of like, oh, when he made that decision, like it's not just he made that decision on the fly in the moment. There's actually an entire inner workings of his brain or whatever of what he experienced before the island, right? And so you really understand that character motivation more. And there's like, I don't know, like I would say that's the thing I love about Lost so much is the characters are super they're pretty consistent, like in terms of I love the characters and how they grow and change, and I can see because they give a lot of time, you know, with how many episodes there are, you can really see it better.
That's the key, dude. That's the key.
So I hope you like it.
I love shows that I have to dedicate a half year of my life to get to watch. Yes. I'd rather a show be like 200 episodes long as it's well done, because those are the best shows.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
The ones that you have, like if it's a 1 season, 8 episode show, it's not going to be deep. It can't be.
I disagree. But
tell me how you're going to get deep in 8 episodes.
You can definitely do. I feel like the potential to do more with more episodes is there, but I have seen 8 episode shows that are more deep than like 200 episode shows.
Fair, but that just means a 200 episode shows suck.
Okay. Understandable.
Like, how do you make 200 episodes of something that's got no, how do you knock it?
But I guess there's different, like,
what are you going to show for 200 episodes that doesn't get any kind of stimulation out of who's watching it?
I guess that's true, but there's also different reasons why people watch it. Like, that's why we watch shows.
Fair.
But there could be, like, somebody might watch a show because they want to see awesome action sequences. They don't want to see.
That's fair.
Like,
I feel like you're talking about the 100 for some reason.
No. The 100's weird. That one's a weird one. I like that one, but I'm not going to tell you it's like a masterpiece. But
you don't have to tell me. I've heard from other people that it's not a masterpiece.
I mean, I like the character.
The beginning
arcs
is
I like the character arcs in that show. The first couple episodes suck, and then it somehow gets good. And then it later clearly lost some writing direction was very poor, I think, towards the end. But I still overall like the show, and I don't think it went off the rails nearly as much as Game of Thrones did. But I don't know. I think there's different reasons why you watch something, and it's like really figuring out,
very fair
okay,
point.
What is your audience? What are they looking for in this? Like, what is, you know, in Game of Thrones, the audience was, I connect with these characters on a deep level, and I've seen them grow, and they are in very hostile situations. Anybody could die at any moment, and I'm rooting for these characters to do certain things. And then when like that doesn't pay off in the way that you want it to as a fan, you're like, dude, you knew that's why I was watching this, for this reason. Like, I'm not watching it to see a plot twist happen where the character turns their back on everything that has been built up to that moment. Like, I need to see it. Like, I'm like, that's why, like, I am one where, you know, I feel like a lot of media the past couple of years, we saw a lot of like, I don't really like this term too much because a lot of people use it to like hate on everything, but the sort of like diverging your expectation of something or subverting it. Like, I gotta admit, like, I'm on the side of like, if the writing in the story better fits, like if it's predictable, that is honestly could be okay. As long as it's still, you can make something be predictable as long as it's satisfying. Like Breaking Bad, towards the, I mean, it's a pretty like, we could probably predict how that show was kind of gonna go out, but it's still so satisfying, like how that show wraps up.
I don't care if it's predictable. I'm not watching these unless it's like a murder mystery where it's like the whole point of it is to like throw you off.
Right.
That's not. I don't really care about that. I really care about, and I think this has become very obvious through this conversation. I care about like being able to relate and like really deeply have an attachment to a character or multiple characters.
Yeah.
And if like action's great, like I want something happening, but like the story and weaving that story together within these like amazing characters is really what's most important, even if it's predictable.
Yeah. I guess I'm saying like I'm always that person who's like with some of the Game of Thrones is a good example because like some of the stuff they did, it was like you could tell and again, I don't know, I wasn't there, but there was sort of this vibe of like they did it because no one would expect it, and it's like, but did that make it better? I don't know. People can say what they want from it. Like I expected some things to happen that I was like, this is 100% going to happen, but that's okay that I know it's going to happen because it's going to be so damn cool when it does. It's like Marvel, right? With like Thanos. You knew Thanos was like, you knew that Thanos was going to be the big bad for so long. It wasn't a plot twist that he was going to show up and be like the biggest threat. And it probably wasn't like, you know, with Endgame and stuff, and I'll spoil Endgame a little bit because everybody's seen that by now. But like, you knew they were going to win an Endgame. But that moment is still so damn satisfying when they all come through the portals. Like you get chills. You knew it was going to happen in some way, that there's going to be some victory moment. And it's still the most satisfying thing. Like if they wanted to make it different, I guess the subverting would be like Infinity War with, you know, the snap, right? But you knew there was another movie on the way.
True.
But it's just one of those things where like you can have satisfying moments if it's like, even if it's predictable, and you can have awesome moments when it's not predictable either. It's just, how does the writing hold up through it all? I don't know. I think we're both really big fans of like good writing with characters, I guess. But
yeah, I
feel like most people are too. But there are some people who are like, oh yeah, I like Fast and the Furious movies because what the hell is going on in the action? I don't know.
That's very fair.
Like
I do think
I doubt the writing's the best part about
Game
Fast
of
and Furious.
True.
Game
of Thrones does deliver on the action front, though, I'd say as well. I mean,
that's true.
It really does deliver on that front. But I think even just this, like talking about it more, I think this is why I like TV shows more than movies too.
Same.
Because there's more time to tell a story. Like a movie is, 1.5 to 3 hours, and you can tell some really great stories in that time. But I think those are way less deep than you could get on a TV show.
Yeah,
on a show that has multiple episodes to go through.
The potential of a show is so much more unmatched, I think, than a movie. Like,
I'm also trying to understand why I don't like the game version, because you can tell I'm really passionate about TV, I don't like the game part of it. I don't know what it is. But I really, really like the TV. Movies are
maybe you just haven't had like one that really immersed you the right way. I don't know.
Or like, maybe I just haven't given it a chance enough. I don't know. I just feel like I wouldn't. I almost I don't know.
Because like for me, like that's.
I think maybe because I get so caught up in the gameplay that you
just don't focus on it or something.
That's what it is, I think.
Yeah.
Now that we're having this conversation, for shows, I'm the kind of guy that if I miss a single line, single word, I'm rewinding and listening again. If someone interrupts me,
do you use subtitles?
No, I can't, dude. I won't be able to. I have to see. I have to see what's going on. No, but
dude,
if
I have to use subtitles. It's so funny.
Nah, dude. If I do that, I'll only read the subtitles and I'll miss so many visual things.
That's so interesting. See, I'm the opposite.
But I also make sure I hear every single word. Okay. If I miss a word, I'm going back I'll go back 10 times until I know what they said. Yeah. Because it's important. If you miss like that one great line that's like such a little chef's kiss to the ending, that's huge. Jess will go to the bathroom. She's like, yeah, I can hear it. You can keep going, like whatever. I'm like, bro, how?
No, I can't do that either.
No, you were this is like disrespectful to be like doing other things in the middle of we're I'm locked in, dude. Like I am, anything that I watch now, I am locked in.
Well, so do you play?
But I think with games, if I have to play and then also process like a visual and audio story.
You need to have subtitles on a game then.
Sure, but I'm like, that's the whole point. When I'm playing a game, I'm so bad at playing the game already that I would be focusing all of my energy on beating the game, and I'd have no recollection of what the hell is going on in the story. I'd have some clue, but like I would miss a lot of things.
See, I basically every game I play, I put subtitles on. I also for stream's sake, I do that too. But like I would put them on regardless, and I really try to be immersed into it, and like I will play, like I will do the thing as well, like where if I'm in a game and I talk to a character, and even if it's like a skippable dialogue, I sit there. I'm like, nope, I'm listening to this. It's gonna all make sense. Something's gonna happen, and I don't know. Maybe you just haven't found the right game that like gets you like in that path. I don't know.
We just figured it. I just figured it out in my head. Like it all makes so much sense.
So you think
now.
like all games are that way for you?
No, well, I just feel like that's why, because I know that I like when I watch a show, it is imperative to me that I understand every single bit that's happening. Otherwise, I feel like I've done a disservice to the show.
So when you play a game, you're like, okay, sometimes you might miss a line here or there because you're fighting or something.
I would miss like every line, dude. If I have to play the game and things are happening, I would miss everything. I would be like, I fought this guy and I need to like fully. I'm bad at multitasking. I'm fully aware that I am bad at multitasking. In fact, I don't believe it's possible to multitask effectively. I think people are out of their mind. Like certain things, sure.
But you stream.
I suck at it. I've said this before. I am so bad at reading chat and playing a game well. It doesn't work. So like my chat can attest to this. Awful. Literally, I can do one or the other. Really well. I can't do both really well, ever.
That just cracks me up. I suck at it, but I still do it.
I do. I
love it though,
that's why I've set aside like the beginning of streams now. I try to set like a full hour just to chat because otherwise I don't.
I feel that
terrible at engaging.
I feel like that's a lot of streamers are like that too. I feel like you're not alone there. Like
maybe, but I recognize that I'm really bad at doing two things at once well because whatever I'm doing, I'd like to focus every bit of like my entire focus on it, undivided attention, to get it done at the highest level.
Dude, you know how hard it was for like going back to the Jason stuff, like how incredibly hard that was
to just focus on playing the game.
To sit there
Don't
in the
read
moment.
Chat.
Exactly. Don't read chat. Don't do anything because like if you read chat, the gag is up. If I read chat and someone in chat guesses it's him, the gag is up. So literally, it's like I had to mute my donations, mute chat for me, and just play Sonic, and with somebody like throwing stuff at me in the background. And try not to even talk about that happening, even though I know internally that was Jason Blundell behind me. And it's like, I know I'm freaking out internally. I'm like, oh, they have no idea. This is crazy. This is crazy. Hey, look at Tails jumping around on screen. Wow. Like that was the hardest time. Like I think that was the hardest I ever multitasked in my life because it was just.
Hardest ever multitask, but I literally was trying to do everything but multitask.
Yeah, I guess so.
It was like the anti-multitask.
Yeah, it was like the antithesis to it. It was literally just you have to focus on one thing.
Just play the game, yeah.
But my brain was multitasking the whole time because I was trying to make sure. I was also trying to make sure you could see him in the background a little bit. Like it's hard to get all that right. And and just kind of like just sitting there and being like, okay, don't move if he does something. If he throws something at you, don't move. If he pops confetti, don't
flinch.
Yeah,
I didn't move.
Dude, that's so crazy. That's even. I'm so glad we can finally talk about that even happening. Like that was. This is a weird era we're in now, but it's exciting.
Dude, it is. I'm excited for you. I'm happy. I know it's been like it's been a year since you moved out here now, right? Almost entirely a full year.
Yeah, since I moved out to LA. Yeah,
it was like what, July like 20 something.
Dude, I don't remember the exact date.
I know because I was trying to make sure I was available to help you move in. I think it was like July 20th or 23rd maybe. Somewhere around then. Anyway, it's been almost a full year. So congrats. Proud of you.
Thanks, man.
You've done a lot of awesome stuff since you've been here. You've made a good amount of friends. You have a really great girlfriend. You're working at an amazing new company. Like you're crushing it, dude. You're crushing it.
Thanks,
you moved to LA
man.
and look what's happening for you already. So
we had to chase the dream. I moved out here to chase the dream.
California dreams, bro.
But no, I really appreciate it, man. appreciate you repping the DG merch.
Dude, absolutely. I still look like a construction worker, like a contractor coming out like the report. Well, your pool looks like it's a little bit over the pH level, but
that was something too where we're like we gotta give back to the community, and we gotta figure out, like, hell yeah, we want people to be a part of the vibe. Like Deviation, the whole name it's really good. Like, it's a good name. Like, I'm not gonna lie,
it is a good name.
When I found out that was like the name of everything, like that was such an amazing, like, I was like, the branding is perfect. Like, it's perfect. It represents like who our team is a lot. And I people have been asking me like constantly, like, JC, I want DG merch. I'm like, what, already? Like, we haven't even,
what? For me?
We haven't announced anything yet. Like, what? But people are like wanting to rep the logo and everything already, which is awesome. And so honestly, guys, I want to find out more ways that we can make that happen in some way. I again, stay tuned. I'm not 100%, but I would love if we get more like shirts and stuff out to everybody, because it was just, it's such a, it's a fun thing. It's a fun, thing to like stand for. It's like Deviation. Like,
it's a good name.
It's like, we talk about all the time in this podcast how when we set out back in the day to be content creators and all that kind of stuff, especially both of us, that was in a time where that wasn't the norm as much, right? Nowadays, a lot of people want to do that, and that's amazing. Don't get me wrong, but it's like we talked about before, like on podcasts, like when I was a kid, I was told that I was not supposed to do that. That was deviating from the norm. Right. And so to me, that name Deviation is already in my blood from YouTube and all that kind of stuff. So it just fits so perfectly. And I think that's what it's all about, is like, follow your passion, have fun, do the things you want to do. And that's what the whole culture is at the studio, is we can make what we want to make, and we're going to have a damn fun time doing it. And that's really, really like I don't know, it's just so exciting to talk about finally. But yeah, I guess for all the DG stuff, this is probably the main official DG like reveal on the podcast and everything. But just guys, stay tuned on the DG socials. Like, you guys have supported like crazy. I think the Deviation Games Twitter is at like 27 or 8K.
Dang, dude.
How?
Dang.
How? You guys are crazy.
That's nuts.
And we haven't posted that much because, I mean, obviously, like, you post when there's something worth posting, right? And it's like, still, that support is insane. And that just goes to show, like, I don't know, like, again, the overwhelming support has been amazing, guys, and I appreciate it. So if you want any news on that kind of stuff, I'm still gonna be streaming. I'm still gonna be on my Twitch. We're still gonna be doing the podcast. We're not canceling the podcast because of all this stuff happening. It was really just, we got really damn busy with the announcement, with Matt doing his stuff as well the past couple of weeks, and then going and visiting home and all this. It's just literally everything just happened at once. But if you, for the most part, this is what I've been saying on stream, if you want to stay up to date with DG stuff, best place is that Twitter, Deviation Games. Games. Or the website, or, all the other socials that we have. But that Twitter is like the main hub, I would say. And on my stuff, I'm still going to be chilling with Matt. I'm going to be chilling on Twitch, playing all sorts of games like I normally did. And
I will either be playing or watching chat, not both.
Yes. Yeah.
Failing to do both, for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, so...
Dude, follow up. And we've done this like every episode. We've left a word for them to comment in the chat if they made it this far.
Yeah.
I think this one has to be DG in my blood.
DG in my blood.
Okay.
I love it.
DG in my blood.
That sounds kind of like scary, but yeah.
It's a little bit cultish, but if you watch the whole podcast, that's what you said before. So
DG in my blood.
I'm deviator in my core, in my blood. It's in my blood.
Dude, it is in your blood. I know it is.
It's in my blood too. And maybe it's in theirs if they comment it.
I mean, honestly, if you're watching the podcast, it probably is in your blood. Cause
it makes a lot of sense.
I mean, come on, you're watching a podcast called Irrelevant. That's deviating a little bit. Right?
Just a little bit.
Hey, that's brand recognition. That's what we want to see.
There we go. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you guys hopefully next week on time on Tuesday, I believe.
Yeah. Should be.
Yeah.
That's I don't know.
Take care.
I don't know what else to say.
We did it, bro. We got a show out. Finally, let's go. Take care, guys.